welcome to my channel. Well, my topic on this one's going to be about knife budgets. And basically, some people don't need a knife budget. You know, they've got enough money that they don't have to worry about it. I have to be on a budget because I get paid once a month. So that pretty much forces you into doing a monthly budget. If you get paid every week or you get paid every 2 weeks, you don't have to budget quite as much because you've got those other paychecks that you might be able to alter your spending and stuff. But when you get paid once a month, you have to set a limit. And a knife hobby or a knife collection thing can be just like any other thing. It can be like an addiction, and you have to feed that addiction with, you're no longer satisfied with, a less expensive knife. You want a better one, like costs more or more in quantity. And so, I'm not a doctor or anything like this, but I do know about addiction and how it can affect your life. And so you have to treat this, I would think, just like any other thing, is that if it's disrupting your life and it's disrupting, it's having a negative impact on you, then you should probably do something to alter it. And one of the ways you can kind of do it is a budget, a knife budget. Now, the problem is sticking with that budget. For the longest time, my budget has been like $100 a month for a knife. And many times I go over that. When you go over it, that's usually when you need to address that situation, because you're gonna rationalize it to yourself. Well, I needed it, or it was on sale, or they were going to run out of them, or whatever your motivation was to get you past that barrier that you set. Nobody else set this. You set your limit. And if you set it incorrectly, like $50 a month isn't enough. I can barely get a knife. I'm not going to be happy with $50 a month. Can I afford 100? Now, what I do on any budget, on anything like that, is I take care of the necessities first. And that would be housing, food, insurance, any of those things that you're required to have or you're going to get in trouble. You take care of all those things first. And if you've got any money left over at the end, then that's like discretionary spending. That's why I look at my knife budget. Like if it gets to a situation where I need that $100, then I'm going to have to satisfy myself with an inexpensive knife just to get me by that month. It hasn't come down to that, but I mean, it could. And also for people on YouTube that are just starting out and want to get monetized, and they look at it like, wow, I'm going to get this, and I'm going to get this much money and all this. You need a lot of subscribers. You need a lot of views. And until that happens, you can't count on, YouTube won't pay you unless your account is over $100. It's got to be over $100, or they're not gonna pay you. They'll roll it over into the next month. Quite a few times I've not gotten paid, so you can't count on that either. And then it's just a matter of, well, if you really want something, you've either got to sell or trade, knives to get other ones. I usually don't sell any knives or trade them. Usually I'll do giveaways and stuff like that, but I figure the ones I've collected, I don't want to have to go through that whole collection process again, trying to hunt something down or look at it and stuff like that, but that's all I'm saying basically, is that a knife budget is one way to help control your spending. And also just be aware, if you exceed your budget, it might help just to write down the justification, like put it down as an excuse somewhere on a piece of paper. Say, all right, I had to go beyond $100 because of this. And if you go back, you're just doing this yourself, and there's no law against it or anything else. But if you look back and you look at all your excuses and you find they're pretty weak, then I think it's going to give you an indication that you've got an issue that you might need to control. And the only way I would say it is if you are lying or making up excuses or whatever to get another knife. If you're lying to yourself or someone else, then you've probably got an issue, and like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist or anything else. All I know is that you've got to be aware of the problem first. You've got to, admit that you've got an issue, and then you've got to deal with it. And if you can't deal with it, then that's when you need to seek professional help, like some kind of counselor. It's no ding on you as a person to say, hey, this is beyond my control. I need a little outside help, with anything, mental health or financial situations and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of information online about how to set up a budget and manage it and all that. And the hard part really is finding out where your money is going, basically. I know a lot of people, when they knife collect, they keep a accurate record of everything that they spent. If you don't keep an accurate record, you might be surprised how much you're spending on stuff. Because you might look at it as like, well, I only got this $15 knife here, and I got this $5 knife here, and if you look at the frequency of it and start adding it up, it goes over $100 and something, and if that was your budget, then you're just going to have to, like I said, keep it in control if you can, But anyways, I don't have any answers on this one. I'm just saying I'm pretty sure a lot of people run into this, where you're looking at, all right, you've got, say, $100 set aside, and you place your order for, a bunch of different Rough Riders or something, and then a knife you wanted that's around $100. It's never usually around $100, but it's on sale or it's a special and it comes up for $100. Well, you've already spent your money. You can't get that one knife that you've been wanting so long. So, yeah, I can't. I'm not good at organization or control or stuff like that. Like with my my knife storage and everything. Like looking for the missing Barlow girl. I ran into a bunch of other knives that I hadn't been looking for, but I wasn't organized. I basically got it together and was like, all right, let me start getting the glows all together. I have a bird and trout glow knife that goes with this. It just won't fit in the box. And then, like trying to put all the Barlows together. Now, see, you run into a situation. Are you going to put all the Stoneworks together, or are you going to put all the Barlows together? And a lot of times things get mixed up. I'll do a video and I'll say, all right, I'm going to put the whole collection of Stoneworks out here, and I'll forget I've got one on a neck chain hanging around somewhere. I've got another one in the Barlow box. So yeah, I could use a little bit more organization on my stuff, but I don't, and I don't ding myself too much. Don't beat yourself up too much on a lot of this stuff. Just like if you paid all your bills and you exceeded your knife budget for 1 month, where did you get that other money from? Did you short or something? Did you not let your electricity bill get paid or something like that because they're going to let you slide for a week or two? That's when, like I said, when you start changing your parameters, just look at the reason why you did it, and if it's a valid reason, then it doesn't have to be rigid and etched in stone. It's got to be flexible. if the situation changes, you know, you won the lotto. Now you can exceed your knife budget, you know. So it's just like a guide. It's just a way to kind of like help you control the situation. And like I said, just be aware if you're getting too obsessed with it. You know, like you're spending so much time on websites and stuff like that and waiting for bids and everything. If you're enjoying yourself, fine. But I mean, if you find yourself you're losing sleep and your performance at work is crashing, you know, and you have to do more overtime to support your situation, yeah, it's not like it's a mental addiction. I want to get that out of the way. It's not the same as being addicted to something chemically. That's a big difference right there. I mean, you've got physical things your body's going to do. This is a mental situation here. It's kind of a mental addiction, and it could be anything. You could be into fishing, and you want to get all the fishing rods by one manufacturer, you know, or guns the same way. You can like one manufacturer, and all of a sudden you find yourself trying to get all of them in that caliber. What for? You know, it's that collecting bug that I've got one. You know, now I like this so much I want to get all of them in this pattern. All right, you know what? What's the urgency? They're still making them. You know, you don't have to get them all right at once. You can budget one, you know, a month in there. And it's the same thing with your budget. All right, if you've got $100 that you can spend, you can get quite a few inexpensive knives, or you can get one expensive one that, you know, that's just going to have to satisfy you for the whole month. That sometimes that's a better way to do it. It just takes more discipline. All right, let's say you want a $200 knife. Now you're going to have to go one complete month without buying any knives, you know. So it's not easy. It's not easy doing this. But once you make that commitment, then, you know, if you find out that you didn't like it, you'd rather get a bunch of inexpensive knives than an expensive one, then you're free to change your parameters around there. You know, this is not a court order or anything. This is something that you set up and you're in control of. I mean, if you don't want to have a budget, that's fine. But if you're having an issue, like I said, where you find yourself starting to, I want one of these, I want all of them. I like this, I want, you know, everyone that they make. Why? Is there something particular that you like about it? Well, yeah, I like the size of it. I like that it's locking. It's a pretty good knife. What are the other ones that are like this that Rough Rider makes? Just different covers. That's it. The knife is exactly the same. It might not be black, you know, it might not be copper, but they're all exactly the same knife. So as far as cutting goes, you're fine with one of them. But as far as collecting goes, well, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. You know, if you want to collect every Barlow they've ever made or every canoe they've ever made, then, you know, go for it. But just don't let it get to the point where, well, I would recommend you don't get to the point where it's an obsession, where you're losing sleep, you're affecting, you know, you're on eBay bidding late at night on a bidding war on a Rough Rider that will complete your collection, and somebody's being a jerk and outbidding you every time. If you don't get it, you've lost sleep, you're frustrated, you might kick the dog on the way out. Get out of the way, mutt. So, yeah, it can affect you, is all I'm saying. As long as what you get out of it is positive, if you get the enjoyment out of it, then fine. But like I said, if it starts getting to be in a kind of like out of control and everything, then a budget is a way to control it. And like I said, the pitfall of a budget is if you don't follow your own advice. I don't want to shine it in his eyes. Like, shine it in his mouth. You're not supposed to shine a laser in animals' eyes because it can blind them. The beam is so focused, the retina doesn't have time to adjust to it, and it can burn a hole in your in your vision. It's a black dot. Well, I used to work in Intel. We had invisible lasers, invisible laser beams that if you were working in there, you wouldn't even know that it was on. We had special glasses that were supposed to protect us from that, but I don't know, I must have caught one, but I have a little pinpoint dot that is completely black. I mean, it's like the head of a pin in my vision, but it's there, but it's not a floater. It's different. It's completely black, and that's what happens with lasers. I don't know how we got off on lasers, but anyways, there you go. I just thought I'd do a little ramble there about knife budgets and knife addiction. I couldn't say addiction at first because YouTube has got this thing where if you say certain words within the first 30 seconds or so, they're going to ding you, or I don't know what the word police around here and thought police, but there you go. That's my thoughts on it. Like I said, I don't have 100% success with this. I try to keep it within my budget, and I don't know, it doesn't always work, but it helps. It helps control it. Otherwise, if you have no control, you can wind up going crazy, or at least I can. And I'm already crazy, so you can't go crazy if you're already there. So anyways, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.